Hi, I'm Leapfrog.
Hello, my name is Logan Shaw, and welcome to LogansStory. Today we talk about the Hollywood age in the 1940s as the next pop culture history highlight. Thank you for coming. Let's get into it. Hollywood in the 1940s was a time of change and crisis marked by a wave of memorable films, a shift in the industry's relationship with the government, and the emergence of new genres. Okay, so this is a new rise of what movie making can be, and what it will be as opposed to what it used to be. Well, in the 40s, we see a big niche of movie making coming to life, and the directors and actors are more notable than ever, especially the actors. But, the thing is, when you're thinking about a Hollywood movie, you think about three basic constitutes the characters, the implementation of story, and the thing that wraps up the implementation of story entirely. But, what's funny? When you think of actors, you think of them nowadays as big bunches of people. Back in the 40s, you knew actors the way they were, by name. You didn't have to think about what the name was. You just said that Danny Kaye movie, that Humphrey Bogart movie, the Glenn Keane, the whatever movie was being made. You just knew them by the actors. And that's the big thing about this kind of story of implementation of picture involvement of picture that started in the 20s but later made it way in terms of rise of culture in the 40s. Now this is completely after the war, well not yet after the war, but completely after Great Depression. So people were getting benefits from what we know as the war. And while there were war movies, there were movies in an array and in a bunch, which laid way for something bigger and better than ever before. Movie making in the 40s led to the stem of particularity, and to that stem, there seems to be many different branches that hope in that way. So, what does this mean? Well, let's go into detail. The branches include the characters, the actors, the story, the director, the implementation of story in terms of its ending. There's a lot of things that go into making a movie that features a star. Think about this: Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, and lastly, Wizard of Oz. All great movies in the 40s and 30s that led way to many of the movies we know now today. Because of movies in the 30s and 40s that branched the stem of every movie known to be, it changed the scope of what we view as entertainment. From when it was in black and white to now color, we view these movies in a sense of pride and possession. As American classics, we hold these true to the evidence of what a great movie is to be. But here's the thing: that movie that you once saw when you were a kid that you can barely remember because it was made in the olden days, what would movies be without it? Think about it. If we didn't have the starter ups, we wouldn't have the movies now. Because of that, we should be grateful for every filmmaker that ever touched the camera. Because even good or bad, it's a learning step for all people who are going to see a movie. But here's the thing: what does this mean for you and I? What does this mean for the larger group of people? Well, application, of course. See, when you're thinking about a movie and the grand scope of things, in terms of what it means to you and I, do you want to be a filmmaker? I do. I want to be a filmmaker. That's the big thing of LogansStory. It's an implementor of what movies are supposed to be, and film as well. It's going a little slow, I do imagine, but it's a work in progress. And here's the thing: every movie has its stepping stones. Do you have stepping stones? Well, you have one over the other. Take one step at a time and go with what maybe could be written or what is written. Now, with that being said, how could this tie to you and I? Well, think about the movies. Think about how much human nature is in them. Even though there's magic and imagination and wonder and things that are obsolete to the human eye and obsolete to the human experience, there's a little connection that we can take away. And that is movie making and movies generally take us out of the realm to visit new realms every single day, which means it takes us out of the world for a change and bring us into a world that's different and more imaginable possible. So, are you thinking about your imagination when you're making stuff? Are you thinking about your imagination when you're doing stuff? Are you thinking about the stepping stones and the quality of everything that comes to making a movie? Are you thinking about this process that is everything to become a filmmaker or anything you want to be? Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, movies are in so goal set so high, to a standard set so high, to make the imaginable reaches of what a film should be. Thank you for coming in the application, and let's continue forward. Thank you for coming to Logan's Story. Thank you for coming to the Pop Culture History Highlight. There are more highlights in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys know how to get there by hitting the share, like, and subscribe button right on the screen. Also, by hitting the bell. Leave a comment if you can, too. Also, follow the Patreon link in the description. Thank you again, and peace.